World War II, the Battle of the Atlantic. Nazi U-boat maestro Karl Dönitz,
Like wolves, we will hunt in a pack.
and his legendary aces bring Britain to the brink of starvation
There's like 20 U-boats?
by sinking their merchant ships.
Bullseye.
Fire.
Blast.
Must deal with these U-boats once and for all.
The Royal Navy turns to a team of women, the Wrens.
And finally, the real gem.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Sir?
Jean Laidlaw.
They will become some of the greatest wargamers of their generation.
Ladies, if we lose the Battle of the Atlantic, we lose the war. Our job is to find a way to sink the U-boats.
But their legacy has been ignored.
I mean, you only helped in the Battle of the Atlantic. Not that we can tell anyone it was us.
Now the story of these forgotten wargamers can be told.
So, who thinks they can sink a U-boat?
Their tactics enable the Allies to turn the tide of the war.
And do you have a name for it?
Raspberry, sir.
As in blowing a raspberry at Hitler, sir.
Outthink the U-boats.
Half raspberry!
This is war, not a bloody board game. I need results.
Die!
And defeat Nazi Germany.
The Battle of the Atlantic is unlike any other. It is the war against our two great enemies, the U-boat and the cruel sea.
Speed up! Compressed air in all tanks. Both engines full astern. Rudder hard a port.
In the First World War, U-boat commander Karl Dönitz is losing control of his submarine.
The U-boat is a terrifying innovation, one of the many of the First World War, but one of the most dangerous.
Submariners were always courting death whenever they went to sea.
Light, Moosen! We're at 80 meters. We're all gonna be crushed. Blow out the diving tanks! Thank God. We can't stay here. Dive!
We're out of compressed air.
Scheiße! How have we let this happen? There's nothing for it. We can't let the enemy get her. Open the seacocks! Scuttle her! Everybody out!
For Doenitz, the scuttling of his own U-boat was a bitter moment of defeat. He was a young, aspiring officer, and then to lose this command in this way was certainly not only a heavy blow was for his career, but also for him personally.
Thank God I brought us with the fishes.
Where's Yeshin?
I saw him swim further back.
God damn it!
Gru's got, Captain.
We're even now. You sunk one of my warships, and I sunk you.
I won't say it's a pleasure. Now excuse me while I account for my men. Not a word. Not a word.
He was deeply humiliated and deeply upset also to, of course, have lost members of his crew.
For the Kaiser. For the Kaiser.
It must have been a deeply frustrating moment for him, and one that he dedicated the next 20 years to addressing.
A traumatized Doenitz is sent to Britain as a prisoner of war.
People thought Doenitz was so mad that they sent him to a mental asylum in Manchester. He was experiencing these terrible images of the ship going down, of his friend coming back to him with his boots full of water. So he was obviously suffering some sort of post-traumatic shock.
Pfeifen.
Doenitz was acting very, very strangely, but he was thinking very tactically. He was playing war games with his dinner.
Doenitz remembered as a child the woods of Brandenburg, that there were wolf packs.
He first thought of the idea of grouping U-boats together into what eventually came to be known as a Wolfpack.
Rise up, women!
While Karl Dönitz dreams of U-boats hunting like wolves, his future adversary, Vera Lawton-Matthews, is launching her own trail-blazing career.
Now! Rise up, women! Now!
Got nothing better to do? Go on, give us a kiss. Who writes this crap?
Me. And others. A team effort.
A right gaggle of muckneds. If you don't want husbands or kids, do us a favour and go drown yourselves.
Feel free to keep it. As a gift. Do read it. I assume you can read. Would you do that to your mother or your sister? I look in your eyes and you know what I see. A cowardly little boy.
I've always greatly admired the courage of the suffragettes to gain political recognition for women.
Her family was from a naval background, and Vera herself wanted to join the Navy.
Women! Now! Rise up, women!
In the First World War, she became part of what's known as the Wrens, which is the Women's Royal Naval Service.
They were the women who would go in and they would do things like the typing. They were involved in the process of running the Royal Navy.
They were involved in everything from factories to clerical work, and some of it was really highly sophisticated. They were all of a sudden put into roles of great responsibility that women had never had before.
After the First World War, the Wrens are disbanded. And the defeated Germany is punished with harsh reparations.
The Treaty of Versailles was the greatest political mistake in the 20th century. The idea was to reduce Germany to a small power by reducing their military forces.
The Treaty of Versailles was tough on the German Navy in particular. They were banned from having submarines at all.
Germany after World War I was a boiling pot of political turmoil.
The rise of Adolf Hitler to power in 1933 created an environment in Germany where the idea of overturning the unfair Versailles Agreement was almost a national obsession.
By 1935, the British, eager to appease Hitler, sign a naval treaty with Germany.
It enabled Germany to have a U-boat force again, and it enabled Doenitz to realize some of his dreams.
Doenitz was appointed commander of the U-boat school. He had the chance to apply his new tactical ideas into the minds of the U-boat commanders.
I'm sure you don't need reminding that the Navy is the cream of the German armed forces, and the U-boat arm is the cream of the Navy. Now, one day you may command your own U-boat, but first you must meet the standards I demand. Lesson number 1. Wolfpacks. Here we have a convoy crossing the North Atlantic. Our U-boat spots this and moves in for the kill.
With the advantage of stealth and surprise.
Yes, we communicate, we coordinate, and we sink the enemy, and then we disappear into the depths, silently and safely. And then we move back.
For this to work, we would need a fleet of U-boats.
Right now, our flotilla is a drop in the ocean.
Correct. But it is our duty to turn that drop into a lake. That lake is our destiny. The destiny of the Third Reich.
He was looking for daring, determined, cold-blooded officers. You could even say born hunters.
The first commanders were really elite commanders, handpicked by Doenitz, like Prien and Kretschmer and Schepke.
In Britain, Commander Gilbert Roberts, the man who will one day lead the fight against Doenitz's U-boats, is wargaming First World War naval battles.
Gilbert Roberts is at the Portsmouth Tactical School teaching the very war games of the past.
It's all very well, sir, wargaming the ebb and flow of the Battle of Jutland ad infinitum, but I wonder if we shouldn't be...
Well, Roberts, it just happens to be the most important naval battle since Trafalgar. I should know, I was there. Jutland, not Trafalgar.
I don't disagree, sir, far from it. But in the light of the new agreement with the Germans, perhaps we should reevaluate our tactics.
What in God's name is the point of that?
Well, take the U-boats, for instance. They caught us on the hop in the war. A damn scourge, like sharks appearing out of the blue.
It's an old story. We knocked those rotten hearses for 6 back then, without escorts, ASDIC, and depth charges. The U-boat is kaput, as the Hun might say.
Rightly or wrongly, the Germans are manufacturing them, and I think we should be vigilant. I've heard talk of a commerce war.
The Germans won't sink commercial shipping. It's just not cricket.
The Germans don't play cricket, sir.
They're not really wargaming against U-boats at this point because they think that their tactics and technical advancements will protect them from the outset. They believe that the ASDIC sonar system will allow them to track U-boats under the water.
One person who is preparing for war is Vera Lawton Matthews. She's recruiting a new generation of young women.
Vera's background of being involved in the suffragettes and then obviously her time in World War I as a Wren. Now, once the Wren was disbanded, she immediately understood the importance of women working together and she understood the power in that. She was in charge of the Sea Rangers, which is almost like a sort of Boy Scouts for girls at sea.
There we are. Now, the granny knot is not the most reliable. It was obviously named by a man. the most simple and resilient, is the bowline. If you apply pressure, it's hard and as fast as you like, but terribly easy to release. If only life was so simple.
Well, I'm studying to be an accountant. All the others on the accountancy course are men.
Oh, of course they are. I've got a secret little plan. I'll share it with you if you don't let on.
Yes, of course. Sea Ranger's honour.
Ah, well, the Sea Rangers is just a stepping stone. In the war, there was the Women's Royal Naval Service, but it was disbanded. I have an inkling it'll be back soon as you like with war brewing.
But you really think we'll go to war?
Oh, you can always trust the men of the world to get us into trouble.
And the women to get it out.
So funny, Laidlaw.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like me to show you? Oh, no, that's...
Vera inspired a lot of women, including girls like Jean Laidlaw, who joined the Sea Rangers.
She was a good Scotswoman, and a classy one too. She's naturally a talent, someone for whom the time is ripe.
In 1939, with war on the horizon, Doenitz moves his war games to the Atlantic.
Doenitz actually brings 15 U-boats with their crews and some ships for the other side of these war games down to the Bay of Biscay to prepare for war.
"15 U-boats will be split into 5 groups of 3. They will track and monitor a convoy consisting of a freighter, a tanker, with an escort.
Understood.
The U-boats will be stationed at various bearings. Then, and only then, HQ will give them a time in which to attack, on the surface and from all angles.
Close together in deadly unison.
Some will draw away the escorts to allow the others to attack the unprotected convoy.
We'll pick them off like a fox in the henhouse.
No, Captain. Not like a fox. Like a wolf. Like wolves, we'll hunt in a pack.
The biggest operational issue in the mid-ocean is finding convoys. And that's where the use of the pack as a big drift net allows you to find the convoy to begin with. But the U-boat fleet is actually not very big. It's a problem.
For his tactics to work, Doenitz needs more U-boats. There is one man he needs to ask.
Doenitz is obsessed with the idea that U-boats are going to be the key to winning this war that's coming.
Heil, mein Führer. I bring news of our recent naval exercises in the Atlantic. The verdict is clear. Our main weapon has to be the torpedo-carrying U-boat. 300 in total are required for victory.
Dismissed. Doenitz was relatively low in the hierarchy of the German Navy. Fleet planning and all these things were, of course, dominated by the commander-in-chief, the then General Admiral Raeder.
Raeder was interested in building surface vessels, the Tirpitz, the Bismarck, instead of doing what Doenitz had wanted and building the U-boats.
With war approaching, Gilbert Roberts' career in the Royal Navy takes an untimely twist.
He wanted to be the captain of his own ship, and eventually he got to that position, and after 3 months he started developing this cough.
Good morning, Commander Roberts.
Not for much longer, I fear.
I'm going to get straight to the point.
The Navy will be equally straightforward. There's no use for commanders with consumption. It is consumption.
I'm not going to sweeten the pill. You have an extensive infection in the left lung and some in the apex of the right.
Thank you for your honesty.
I must recommend complete rest for a prolonged period. You'll be paid for 90 days by the Navy.
For 25 years service. Then I'm out of my ear. It'd suit them if I pop my clogs now.
Is there anything I can have brought to you?
There is, actually. England play Australia in the cricket tomorrow. May I have a wireless, a cricket scorebook, and a set of coloured pencils, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
You enjoy scoring?
Well, I won't be playing, will I?
Indeed.
To be told that service at sea is likely to end his life due to tuberculosis would have been a heartbreaking experience for him.
McCabe strides for the wicket, he bowls, perfect line of length. Edrich is forward, and they run. That's the end.
This wargamer tries to keep his mind active by listening to cricket scores. There was this sort of feeling that his talents were being wasted.
O'Reilly is up, and he bowls. Hits short and down the leg side. Hutton dispatches the ball for 4. Cracky, what a super shot.
Well played.
He's so distraught when he's signed off on the sick. This is somebody who therefore is keen as mustard to get back into his naval uniform and to prove himself.
On September the 1st, 1939, Germany invades Poland.
Poland and Britain had an agreement that if either were attacked, the other would come to their defence. And once Hitler invades Poland, Britain has no choice but to declare war on Germany.
It was on a Sunday that we heard the Prime Minister say that we were now at war with Germany. We did have a bit of an idea that it was going to be quite a strange and fierce business.
The outbreak of war is the opportunity Doenitz has been waiting for. Within hours, one of his U-boats is in action.
Ten seconds.
Fritz Julius Lemp, in a U-boat, saw what he thought was an ammunition ship. Fire! He fired 2 torpedoes into it. It turned out to be the Athenia passenger liner.
Hit!
In the orders given to the German U-boat commanders, attacks on passenger vessels were banned.
117 people, including refugee children, perish in this incident, and it shocks Britain.
It was hushed up. This was a great mistake.
It's not what Doenitz envisaged for his U-boats.
What Doenitz needed was to prove the worth and the fighting power of his U-boats. And so he set up the idea of attacking the British naval base of Scapa Flow.
Its location means it's ideal for the British. They think it's very, very safe. It's far away from German waters.
Gunther Prien, who was a young lieutenant of the U-47, crept in at night in the dark, very stealthily, into Scapa Flow.
2 enemy ships in the north.
The Royal Oak has on board at that time over 800 British naval servicemen.
There you are. Any sign we've been spotted?
No, sir.
No, sir. Let's call the fattest. Flat bow tubes. Set torpedoes range 3,000 meters. Depth 7.5 meters.
Targets. Stationary. Bearing dead ahead.
Torpedo set 3,000 meters. Estimated time of impact 3 minutes. Torpedoes ready. Fire!
It's so shocking that when the first explosion took place, the crewmen on the Royal Oak looked up, thinking that the only possible threat could be from German bombers. It was not conceivable that a U-boat had made its way into Scapa Flow.
1 torpedo detonates successfully. Torpedoes 2 and 3 have gone to the devil. Scheiße.
It was a very dangerous job, and it was even more so when he fired the torpedoes and they were duds.
Come about.
He has a nerve to give it another try.
Reload torpedoes. Let's finish it off.
Torpedo set. Fire!
Not bad, not bad. All 3 torpedoes hit midship. 1 torpedo straight into the magazine. Bullseye. Time to go.
When Preen lines up Royal Oak and torpedoes it, it's not only a catastrophic loss of the vessel with considerable loss of life, it's a shock. This is supposed to be a safe place.
The fact that Gunther Preen could take a U-boat into the heart of the British home fleet, sink a battleship, and get away again was humiliating.
Preen was incredibly popular because he managed to do what no other U-boat captain had done yet, which was really win a sort of propaganda point for the Germans.
Gunther Preen was given a parade through Berlin as a national hero.
Vera Lawton Matthews is director of the newly reformed Wrens.
Come in. Good morning, Miss Laidlaw. Wonderful to see you again. Thank you for coming. You've seen the news?
Yes, it's very sad.
A pointless tragedy. So close to home. Over 800 men and boys killed.
So soon after the Athenia. Those U-boats are a curse.
On a happier note, Miss Laidlaw, I'd like to welcome you to the Women's Royal Naval Service.
As soon as I heard about the Athenia, I was determined to do my bit for the country and become a Wren.
And with your accountancy skills, you'll be invaluable.
Whatever I can do to help.
Many of our Wrens are still tasked with making the tea or chauffeuring officers around London.
I'm a very bad driver. But I do see patterns and figures, though.
It's going to be tough, but we can make a difference given the chance. Can you believe that women are still not allowed aboard Royal Navy ships?
It would bring the most awful bad luck, according to tradition.
And according to men. I'd like you to help with our recruitment drive. That'll be your desk.
Vera Lawton Matthews was a very tactful, clever, really rather remarkable woman, I think.
She can recognize that the British haven't yet fully appreciated what women can do for the war effort. Give them a chance and they can show what they can do.
Jean Laidlaw is a brilliant statistician. She's an extremely clever young woman.
She's a skilled mathematician. She's one of the very first female registered chartered accountants. Numbers is her game.
In the first 9 months of World War II, The Germans sweep through Europe.
It was incredibly fast. It shocked everybody, and they did this through the tactics of blitzkrieg.
In June 1940, France falls to the Germans.
With the fall of France, all of a sudden, Doenitz gets access to the ports of France and open access to the Atlantic Ocean, and this is, of course, a huge boon for him.
They now had strategically advanced bases for the attacks on the British convoys, on the British merchant shipping in the Atlantic.
Britain, being an island country, of course, depends on trade to survive, not only for its economy, but for its very ability to feed its citizens.
Doenitz's aim in the Battle of the Atlantic was to starve Britain into capitulation.
The U-boat's first challenge is to spot convoys in the wide open spaces of the Atlantic Ocean.
Sir, take a look. That's more like it. Time to hunt.
You have only one torpedo.
Verdammt! Aha! We need to ready headquarters and invite Wolfpack to join the party. Contact U-48, which can't be far away, and ask them to relay our message.
The first U-boat to identify a convoy sends a wireless report back to Doenitz. Doenitz then uses a wireless radio to vector other U-boats toward that location to form a Wolfpack to attack the convoy.
Will the Wolfpack be joining us?
Yes, sir.
Good. We begin.
You didn't see us coming. You need some lookouts with eyes. Let's have some fun.
You've got the torpedoes. I only have one. It's your lucky day, Otto.
Set torpedoes. All one of them.
British convoys at this time were about 30 to 40 ships.
They're not just targeting military ships. These are merchant ships with cargo, which do get attacked by submarines. It's utterly terrifying for the merchantmen.
Torpedoes ready!
Fire!
Preen's one torpedo misses completely. It's left to the other aces to attack the convoy.
Fire.
It's the most devastating Wolfpack operation yet.
All of a sudden, bam, you get this attack by Wolfpacks that looks like it's going to overwhelm the convoy system. And it does surprise the British because they don't have an answer. The tactics are new, and they're all scratching their head saying, what do we do now?
The Wolfpack sinks 11 merchant ships in total. Kretschmer claims 3 and Schepke 7. Preen is left with nothing.
Denn wir fahren! Denn wir fahren! Achtung, Engel!
We did all the hard work and found the convoy. And who gets the glory? Schepke and Kretschmer. If only we hadn't sent all our bloody torpedoes to the devil before. That tonnage belonged to us.
Preen is a bit disappointed. He has done this big coup. He has sunk a battleship. Suddenly we have 3 aces in a row. Preen is not the only ace anymore. There's a big rivalry.
I'm in no mood to drink.
I want what's rightly mine! Aufräumen jetzt! Los!
The aces measure their success by the weight or tonnage of the ships they sink.
Green, remind me of your tonnage for the month?
So, it is over 35,000.
What about yourself?
A very modest 50,000 for myself. Early days.
Yes, yes. The Führer has acknowledged the outstanding work you are doing for the Reich. But I want you to know that the Knight's Cross will be awarded to anyone who can sink 100,000 tons or more of Allied shipping. But to count towards the prize, the ship must go to the bottom of the ocean.
Not only is it a game that they want to win, but it's a deadly game. Taking tonnage is key to Doenitz's strategy of undermining the British and Allied effort to win the war.
No floaters. Everything to the ocean floor.
One torpedo, one ship.
Wouldn't that be good? Too many torpedoes are going to Satan.
Stop complaining. You just don't know how to use them. Get close enough that you can't miss.
So, you've laid down the gauntlet, Otto?
Good. To the hunting ground. This is our happy time.
Wolfpack technique.
This is what the Germans refer to as their first happy time. While they may talk in tonnage, cargo at the bottom of the sea, we know that also means a lot of lives.
The first happy time is wonderful for Doenitz, great for the Germans, but absolutely petrifying for Churchill and for the British.
The one man capable of taming the Wolfpacks, Gilbert Roberts, has a new job, but it's far from the battle raging in the Atlantic.
Attention! At ease. I'm Commander Roberts. I've been given the unenviable task of teaching you lot the finer points of combat, ready to take on Jerry, if and when he comes knocking. I think of myself as a Navy man, but the Admiralty had other ideas. That's enough about me. As for you, I gather things have not been, shall we say, up to scratch here. That is going to change, I can assure you. Lesson 1, killing Jerry with your bare hands. Well, not quite, but with something readily available. 2 sticks and a length of wire. You, would you come out here, please? First, I roll both ends of the wire around the stick thus. I then apply the loop around his neck, twist it, and tighten, like a tourniquet. Except this time the intention is to end life, not preserve it. You all right, sir?
Gilbert Roberts taught the Home Guard self-defense. What it was the men who weren't fit enough to serve in the army.
This is for duds and old dudes. It's not where Gilbert Roberts sees himself. It's humiliating.
Beggars belief, it really does. These poor little mites, trying to escape the accursed war, left to drown.
Those U-boats are inhuman. Sea monsters.
So, what do you think of the new posters?
They're bonny.
That's a charming way of putting it.
You know what they say. You can take the lass out of Scotland.
Do you think the new posters will inspire the women of our fair isle to beat a path to our door?
Indeed. Join the Wrens and free a man for the fleet. I think it will definitely inspire their patriotic spirit.
What do you think of the catchphrase, the Wrens, never at sea?
I've heard it bandied about, but Don't you think it's a bit...
Negative?
Yes. As though we are poor wee landlubbers not worthy of going to sea.
But there's a clever little double entendre, to steal a French phrase.
Ah, of course. We may not be riding the waves, but we never flap. Always on top of things.
Just need to prove one's salt now.
I think that the phrase that really struck us was join the Wrens and free a man for the fleet. And you could absolutely see the logic of that.
My reasons for joining the Wrens and becoming somebody who was useful, it was because I was particularly patriotic, because my father was in the Navy.
There were all sorts of useful jobs that the Wrens could do. It wasn't sort of just making tea or helping in canteens.
You might be on the radio, you might be doing communications, that sort of thing. You might be a plotter.
At least 500 girls are going to be handling and managing the vessels in harbours.
But the Wrens are strictly forbidden from serving as combatants at sea.
We never expected to serve on a naval ship, but we were very aware of the U-boat war. If you said goodbye to somebody going on a convoy, you certainly didn't know if you would see them again.
Doenitz is masterminding an attack on a large British convoy, SC-7, in the Atlantic.
A hunter's moon, just as I like it.
Doenitz comes up with this quite radical idea that what you should do is attack on the surface at night.
Stand by for attack.
The British had come up with what they believed was the answer to the U-boat threat, something called ASDIC, which the Americans would call sonar. But being on the surface means the ASDIC, to identify submerged submarines, doesn't really help the British.
Prepare for attack.
Yes, sir.
Kretschmer was the best tactician among the German U-boat commanders. He was cold-blooded, determined, and very daring.
Fire bow torpedo.
They are all but invisible, and they get inside the convoy, going up and down the lanes, picking out the bigger ships, sinking them almost at random, as if it were some kind of 20th century video game.
So the British send up star shells, and the whole area is illuminated by these little flares, trying to make out the image of a submarine anywhere, trying to spot it in the water. Nobody does.
We go again.
700 meters.
Fire.
SC-7 was one of the most ill-fated convoys. Of 35 ships, 20 were sunk, and Kretschmer alone sank 7 of them. It was simply a massacre.
20 seconds. That must be a record.
Let's fill our boots.
He takes his job very seriously, and to the Germans, he is an utter hero.
We have secured the French ports for our submarine warfare. I am most happy about that. Now, we must sink more Allied freighters.
The new submarines are working, but we need more, and quickly. We need to press home night surface attacks and create Wolfpacks large enough to wipe out whole convoys. If we cripple the convoy system will become too expensive to maintain.
Thank you, Commander. You have been admirably frank, and I shall do what I can for you and your colleagues.
The one thing that it's clear the German Navy could do was starve Britain into surrender if they could have enough U-boats to cut off trade to Britain. Winston Churchill famously said that the only thing that made him lose sleep during the war was the U-boat threat.
Ah, Chief Wren Laidlaw, burning the midnight oil.
It's most exciting. I've been adding up the figures, column after column, and we have reached exactly 10,000 Wrens.
That's quite the landmark. The posters are doing the job. Have you managed to look at the shipping charts?
Yes, I did. I found it all a bit overwhelming. It's upsetting, you know. So many ships going down, so many lives lost.
And the impact on our trade?
It's pretty dire. If we keep losing ships at this rate, the country will be down to just a few weeks of supplies.
People will be starving to death. I know I don't need to tell you this, but do keep it under your hat. Mr. Churchill doesn't want to panic anyone.
I feel like panicking. The other day, I couldn't even buy a bar of soap.
Good night, Laidlaw.
Rationing started pretty much at the beginning of the war, but it got progressively worse. 70% of our food was coming in from abroad.
Ordinary people would be queuing up at the butcher's shop for 2 sausages or something like 2 ounces of butter and 1 egg a week.
There is a great deprivation in Britain, and there's really a great sense of fear. What's going to happen to us if this carries on?
It was a very severe moment in the war, the lowest point, I think, where we were in danger of starvation.
Oh, heaven has sent me an angel.
Don't worry. Mademoiselle is going straight to hell, so he won't bother you for long.
Oh, cheer up, Otto. It may never happen. Let us drink to the tonnage that we have dispatched to the depths.
Prost.
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 I'd like to propose a wager. Let us wager on which of us reaches 250,000 tons first. I offer to provide the 3 of us with champagne if either of you beat me to it. And if I win, you will see to it that I am wined and dined with suitable trimmings. So is there a bet? And we have a witness.
I have a toast for you. Doenitz and our U-boats.
Doenitz.
May the enemy never know the secret of our success.
Germany reveres them. They're heroes.
Doenitz wants to prove that they can win a great victory that will win the war.
So I must ask again, for the fleet of 300 U-boats, I will then guarantee you a victory that will bring Britain to her knees.
That makes 6.
You need to get in the minds of those U-boat aces.
Dive! Where the hell have you dived?
What has become of our invincible Royal Navy?
Find that downed hearse and sink it. Buttercup starboard!
It's clear that something needs to be done in the Battle of the Atlantic, or we will lose the war.
Find out what's happening and sink the U-boats.